Hi everyone, as promised I'm going to teach the Renegade row, the Kettlebell Renegade row of course. Going on from the previous tutorials I did on kettlebell row, you're exercising the pulling muscles which are involved in the grip, the forearm, bicep, the rear of the shoulder into the upper back. As with the bent over row, you're working into the core and the lower back is being exercised in terms of stability, and with the Renegade row, you're holding yourself in a static plank position as you row, so you're really working your core, and with the other hand, which is holding your body as well, you're working into the front of the shoulder and your chest as well as you're holding that static position. What you need for this exercise is 2 kettlebells of the same weight, which have a wide enough base to provide you with enough stability. Unfortunately, a lot of standard kettlebells, the lighter the weight, the smaller they are, and if you're not strong enough yet to do the row with a heavier kettlebell, then avoid it completely, because sometimes the handles are very long and you're just going to end up breaking your wrist. So the competition bells are very good for this because they're obviously all the same dimensions, so you can afford to go lighter and still have the same stable base. I'll demonstrate the exercise first of all. I'm just going to use my 12 kilogram kettlebells for today. So I'll demonstrate from the side and then from the front. That was a good start. Okay, start again. And from the front. To start off this exercise, position the kettlebells so that they're going to be shoulder width apart. So you're parallel and you're above the kettlebells. At this point, you want to make sure that everything is in line from your head right down to your feet. So keeping the core really tight. You're not going to have your bum in the air and you're not going to be sinking your hips. Obviously, that's not a good idea. The risk is you're going to pull your back out and nobody wants that. So, keeping the kettlebells still, having a good grip. If I were you, I would hold the kettlebells more towards the top corner, because when you row, I was doing single arm rows, that's where you're rowing in a better position from, because you'll find that your grip isn't as good. If you have that corner and you have that grip around the top of the corner, it's much easier and it's at a better angle. So from here, depending on how strong your core is, determines how wide your stance goes. So if you're just beginning, keep your stance quite wide, gives you more of a stable base. From here, keeping everything tight, try not to tilt the hips with the row. Try and keep them tight, then row the kettlebell towards the hip. At that point you are going to be leaning slightly more onto the stable arm, your whole body weight, and then lower under control, and again under the rear. Moving body weight. I mean, this is a strength, stability exercise, and under the rules of the exercises that you're doing, it's not an explosive exercise. You want to keep the muscle under tension for the entire, throughout the entire range of movement to gain full benefit. And if you're doing it too quickly, you're not going to be using your core properly because they'll be moving all over the show. If you can't yet do this exercise with the kettlebells and you have trouble doing the row, start off by building up strength in your core by doing a bodyweight renegade row. Again, stable base, keeping everything in line. The head should be just in the natural position if you were just standing, except now you're looking slightly towards the floor. From here, brace the core and roll the hand to the hip and hold for 2 to 3 seconds and then down. That is a good way of building up, along with planks and other core exercises. That's a good one to add in just to get that movement. And then gradually introduce the kettlebells. And like I was saying at the start, it is annoying that the lighter kettlebells generally are too small to balance on, because this is really an excellent exercise. One way you can actually still get the same benefits from doing an exercise, which almost like a replacement for this, if for example you've only one kettlebell or you're a complete beginner, is to do a set of 60 seconds doing the bodyweight renegade row and then do the single arm kettlebell row, which is this, and I've done a separate video on that. As for the position of your hand whenever you're in the row, from my experience, if you aim to bring the hand towards the hip, you are less likely to shrug your shoulder. When I say shrug your shoulder, I mean if you're just rowing upwards, it's almost like the trap comes up and forward, and you want to keep the shoulder down, back and down. And in order to get that range of movement, if you're aiming for rowing further down towards the iliac crest of just above the hip, then the shoulder will naturally go down. And remember to try and get a squeeze at the top of the row on the way down. Lowering under tension, doesn't have to be as slow as that. The other thing is that when you're rowing, try not to twist the hips too much. Sometimes if you're using a heavier weight, it's not unavoidable, but if you're doing it in a sequence for maximum reps, it can be hard to control the sort of rocking of the hips. But try as hard as you can not to move them so much, because then you're really engaging the core. That's really it for the Kettlebell Renegade row. Try it. If you've only one kettlebell, as I said, you can do the combination between the bodyweight renegade row and the single arm kettlebell row until either you have 2 kettlebells or you're strong enough to do it. You can also do the single arm bent over row, which is also working the core. But there's always ways to substitute this exercise as long as it's a pulling exercise, because I always put it in because it's a pulling exercise as well, and because I like it. So if you have any queries or questions about the Renegade row, then come to my blog or leave me a message on YouTube. My blog is myonmytv.com, it's on the screen, in case you didn't guess. But anyway, until either my next tutorial or my next workout, I'll see you soon.